born in 1912.
Right.
Where and when?
In St. Louis, Missouri. And I grew up till I was 5 years old in St. Louis, and I even remember, you know, the heat and we had friends down at the end of the block. And in those days, I remember something that didn't exist, I guess. That my father had an automobile with tandem seats, and I think there were 4 or 5 seats behind the driver in a row. Now, whether in 1910, 11, 12, such a car was made, I haven't any idea. And I guess it's wrong because my mother's first car, my father gave her a Ford. So when did Ford start?
Ooh, 1910.
Yeah, it must have been in the late 10 to 20.
Right. And who was in your family? Who were your parents? Who were your brothers and sisters?
Oh, okay. My father was Will O'Neill, and he had grown up in Oil City, Pennsylvania, and he was grew up to be a newspaper man, and he was a reporter for the Wall Street Journal, and mostly about oil. Between Bradford and Oil City, Pennsylvania, was the original, and still is, the high-grade oil area. But when the oil business moved west to Oklahoma, he moved with it, and he was the only one of the O'Neills that went out, and somehow he got located in Kansas, and my mother's family, the Bovards, started in Kansas, and that's where my mother and father met. My father was a Catholic. My mother was died in a well-Presbyterian family, and the two of them had to run away, which they did. And they got married either in St. Louis, I think it was St. Louis, Missouri. And I don't know whether my father went back to that time he was a newspaper reporter still, mixed up in the oil business. I think they went down to Oklahoma at that stage, I've forgotten.
Was he still working for the Wall Street Journal in Kansas?
No, he never worked for the Wall Street Journal.
The Oil Street Journal.
The oil, yeah, some kind of oil field paper. The biggest mistake he made, like we all make, I didn't do it here either. I didn't buy property here. He could have bought, you know, any part of Kansas or Oklahoma for a song. Probably didn't have a dime to his name, any more than I did when I came here.
What was your mother's name?
Bovard, B-O-V.
No, first name.
Oh, Zella.
Zella. I didn't know that.
Z-E-L-L-A, believe it or not. She was the eldest of, 4 girls and 3 boys. And they may have had some that died at birth and so forth, I don't know. That, of course, happened quite frequently in those days. So,
what are your memories of your mother and father? What kind of people were they? What were their characteristics?
My father, I have vague memories. I was very busy as I grew up in high school. Seems to me I didn't pay much attention to the family. But in the meantime, he had moved the family from St. Louis to Buffalo because a cousin of his had offered him a job in Buffalo, and I've forgotten what kind of a job it was. He wasn't there more than 30 or 60 days when originated. And there was my father with his family in Buffalo, never been there before, and no job. And he went to work for a company made wire, and then he started his own company, the Wilkes Wire Company. But unfortunately, the war came along, and he wasn't enough of a businessman, I guess, to get in on the Defense Department and offer to make wire for him. They took his ingredients away and put him out of business. So he wound up, after the war, at some point, maybe it was before the war, I think it was after, he did a lot of traveling. He was selling sugar mills to Cuba and South America, and he would be away for 6 or 8 months at a time. And that's why I never got to know. He was a gentle person, well-spoken and intelligent and able, but not an outgoing individual at all. And whatever he did, he had to force himself to do. And to my mind, he was a wonderful person. I'll always, what a little life. And I went to Penn the first week I was at the university. He made it a point to arrange his travel schedule to be in Philadelphia, so that he took me down to the hotel overnight and walked the campus with me, and it was just the kind of thing he would do. He died at 59, so I think he was born in 1880, so that would be 1949 when he died. So you can see, I got out of school in 34, went to New York, and went to work. And we sort of crossed paths. I never remember spending a lot of time at home with my father.
What about your mother?
Well, that was a different dish of tea. She had to grow up running the family because he was away so much of the time. And she did. She had, first she had twins that died at birth or shortly thereafter. And then she had my sister and 4 boys, 5 children. And she managed everything while my father was away. And there wasn't an awful lot of money. It wasn't much. She managed very, very well. Anyway, there she was in Buffalo, and knew hardly a soul. But we had a house and in the Central Park area, and she ran the house and insisted that we all each of us get a college education. So my eldest brother, the three boys always worked, and it was a 20-25 minute streetcar ride downtown, and we started out jerking sodas, and a place called Hyler's was famous in those days in New York, and they branched